Imagine trying to pay for surgery with a fish. No banks, no coins, no dollar bills. Just you, your stuff, and whatever someone else is willing to trade for it. That's literally how humans lived for most of history. So what if money had simply never been invented at all? Before coins existed, humans ran on barter, direct trade of goods and services. One had grain, other had wool, they swapped. But barter had a huge flaw, the double coincidence of wants. I need bread, you need shoes, but you don't need my cow. So, now what? Historically, that mismatch is exactly why humans invented money in the first place, as a universal middleman for trade. Early money wasn't coins at all. It was shells, salt, cattle, even large carved stones on some Pacific islands. So if money never existed, we're not just removing dollar bills, we're removing the entire concept of a shared trade tool. That means barter never evolves past its flaws, which changes everything downstream. Without money, there's no easy way to store value. Your wealth would rot, spoil, or rust. Perishable goods like food can't be saved up for later trades, so accumulating wealth becomes nearly impossible for most people. Bigger problem, without money, there's no efficient way to fund large, long-term projects. No pooling of resources for things like hospitals, universities, or space programs. Complex economies, and the specialization they allow, likely never fully develop. Doctors, engineers, and scientists as full-time professions become far harder to sustain because their labor can't be efficiently exchanged or stored. Even trade itself would be inefficient. Every transaction needs its own unique negotiation. No common unit of value means no way to compare a house to a cow to a haircut. Economists consider this one of the core reasons complex civilizations rely on currency at all. It's not just convenient, it's foundational to scale. Historically, money didn't just enable trade, it enabled cities. Dense populations only work when people can specialize. Bakers, blacksmiths, guards. Without everyone individually farming their own food. Without a shared currency, large urban centers become extremely difficult to sustain. Governments and militaries also relied heavily on currency to function, paying soldiers, funding armies, collecting taxes. Without money, empires as we know them may never form the same way. Power might instead be based purely on land, physical resources, or raw manpower. On the flip side, some anthropologists argue that in a moneyless world, communities might rely much more heavily on relationships, reputation, and mutual obligation instead of transactions. Gift economies, where goods are given with the expectation of future reciprocity, not immediate payment, have existed in real indigenous cultures throughout history and could become the dominant social structure instead of markets. So, what would today actually look like without money? Most historians and economists agree. Technology would develop dramatically slower. Global trade, in the interconnected form we know it, likely wouldn't exist. Innovation would still happen, but painstakingly slower, without capital to fund research or long-term risk-taking. Ironically, some economists argue we might see something like money re-emerge anyway. Because historically, whenever complex trade networks form, some kind of common exchange medium tends to appear naturally, even without anyone inventing it on purpose. So maybe money wasn't just invented, maybe it was inevitable. The real question is, would you have been better off in a world where your value wasn't measured in coins? Or, worse off,